What is going on, everyone? We are back for another live. Hope everyone's doing well and having a good Thursday here. I got Evan, one of our coaches here from Master Filmmaker, in the house. Dude, that's a sick hat you got on there.
Brand new, funky, fresh. I went and bought a new basketball, and my wife was like, "Do you like this hat?" And I was like, "I do like that hat. I'm gonna buy it."
That thing is crispy, man. I need to get one like it. Well, dude, what's going on? How are you?
Dude, I'm good. Fresh off workout. These Thursdays are kind of like my days to myself, so to say. Not doing too much other than, coaching and stuff, but I'm not really working on content or, anything like that. It's kind of like my day for myself in a way, but I'm ready to hit the ground running. My day's honestly really just starting.
Dude? What'd you get in at the gym?
Boxing.
Hey, dude, I used to do boxing. I loved boxing. That was great.
Dude,
I got to get back into it. How long you been doing it for?
Dude, probably since like April or so. We did strength and conditioning on Tuesday and like all day yesterday. I was like, ugh. So, but
I love it.
Getting used to it.
I love it. If you guys are joining with us live, drop a comment down below. Let us know where you're tuning in from. David says, let's go. What's going on, dude? Bobby says, sup, boys. What is going on, Bobby? We're live on Instagram over here. If you see me looking over here, I see Valued Productions. Our man Graham is in the house. Who else do we have? We got Josh. We got the Evolutionists. We got Andrew Rodriguez. We got CM Shots. Everybody's tuning in here. Ethan, what's up, dude?
How we doing, boys?
I'm good, dude. I'm good. Just so I can kind of give an overview of everybody who hasn't been on our lives, we typically just answer any questions. We'll spitball. We'll go over anything you need help with when it comes to scaling your video business, as far as like getting more leads, going through sales calls, how to price yourself, how to upsell clients, how to get case studies. Good luck saying my name. I'm not going to try. Jay, and I don't know how to pronounce your last name. I'm not going to try. I'm going to try that one. What's up, Andrew? He's coming in from Fontana, California, Chicago. What is going on, guys? Perfect. Well, let's kind of get us kicked off, guys. Let's, if you have questions, drop them down below. put them in the comments. I want to kind of start by talking about something that I've been working on myself in business. And it's more so like making decisions around data and not with emotions. And I think a lot of us get sucked into like, I'm going to make decisions based on the emotions that I have and how I feel about a situation, or even how I feel about a specific team member that I'm working with, right? And you really need to go off of numbers, because business is just like, it's kind of like a comforting thing almost, where like, if you know your numbers, the math never lies, right? And so if I know how many leads are coming in every single day, how many calls are getting booked, right? What my show rate is to those sales calls, what my offer percentage is to those sales calls, what my close rate is to those sales calls. And if I know how many leads I need to be getting to get a certain amount of units or clients out, then I can predictably scale my business, because I just pour more in at the top. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people get sucked up in that, like, well, it doesn't feel like something I want to do, or this doesn't feel right. Or like, there's been so many times where in business, like, I have felt like maybe I'm not doing very well, but then I look at the numbers, I'm like, okay, we're within KPI. Like everything looks good, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people get sucked up into the like how you feel, especially as creatives. I've been victim to that, and it kind of derails you. But Evan, what are your thoughts on that?
No, yeah, for sure. Like we look at that at the ad side of things too.
Yep.
Like if you're within KPIs and like things just haven't like broken through in terms of like, you know, leads coming through.
Yep.
That's where people are quick to feel like they're not working. I need to change something. And it's been like 3 days or a week or something like that. And it's like, no, the data is telling us that we're within what we need to be within. So let's stay the course. Now, obviously you want to be smart with that. You can't sit on something that isn't producing for too long. There's got to be something in there that has to be changed at a certain point. But, you know, I get a lot of people on my daily call that are like, how do my ads look? I don't really know what to do from here or there. And 9 times out of 10, I'm like, just stay the course. Just keep them going.
You got to get statistical significance to make sure that you're actually getting data.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is like, we get people, or, people come to us and be like, oh, I really feel like this ad's going to work very well. And they put their heart and soul into creating the video, and then it doesn't work. And they get so emotionally attached to that they just let it go. Another side of it, right? It's like, I've poured my heart and soul into like an ad, and I'm like, dude, this is going to be the best thing ever. It's going to convert so well. And then I put my heart and soul into it and it doesn't convert. And you just got to be like, okay, it's out of KPI, cut it, move on to the next. And you have to be like emotionless about that. Because to scale a business, you have to be logical. You have to be emotional. And on the other side of it is like, to be a creative, you have to be very emotional and passionate and feel things, right? And that's why it's sometimes, being a creative and the things that made you successful there are not the same things that are going to make you successful as a business owner, because you have to turn that off and you have to be completely logical and like data driven. And it doesn't matter how you feel about anything at the end of the day. And that's something that I've been learning over the past 4 or 5 years. So,
100%.
100%. And I think that's that's a big thing for people. But guys, if you have any questions about like data, how to scale your business, leads, sales, drop them down below, and we're happy to answer anything you guys got. And we'll just keep ranting until we get any good questions here. But yeah, what else do you see, Evan, on your end? From just maybe starting off and needing some help scaling the business and kind of getting going.
I mean, in terms of like scaling, I think it's a lot like you say, you can't do everything. Right? Like you have to look to get something off of your plate in order to be able to do more of something else that actually is what is going to make you more money.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, the first thing that we always preach, and that I firmly believe also, is you need to get some semblance of the editing process off of your plate. Like I know for me, and like I have an editor now, I haven't edited a piece of short form for myself in like that wasn't directly tied to my business.
Yeah.
I haven't edited something in probably almost a year. In November, it'll probably be about a year.
Yeah.
I've done a few things here and there, some little, like I went and played basketball and I made a little fun video or whatever. But for stuff for the business, for my clients, stuff like that, like I don't do any of that ads or short form or any of that stuff anymore, just because it's just too taxing on your time. You can't grow.
Well, you want to look at what are the things that are like, if you don't care about growing, you can do the things that you want to do all the time,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
like if you actually want to grow and scale the business, right, you have to stair step your way up and buy back the time. So you have to get really good at something, and then you got to pay someone else and train them to get good at that thing, and then get that off your plate and move to the next level. And now that while that person's doing that thing, you bought back your time. Now you focus on something that's going to generate revenue, right? Maybe you take sales calls at that point. And then once you're done taking sales calls, you can't take any more. You hire a salesperson to then take sales calls for you, and you move up to the next rung, which is where you're just doing marketing, right?
Yeah.
And then once you can't do any more marketing, you're stuck there. Then you hire somebody to do marketing, and you move up from there, and now you're the CEO, right?
Yeah.
And now you're focusing on like teams, operations, building people, like making sure all the teams have what they need, right? And so like it really just comes down to like you have to buy that time back if you want to scale. Because like you can't do all the roles. You have to be able to hire somebody, move on, hire somebody, move on, hire somebody, move on, and
Yeah.
keep working your way up that staircase so then you can actually get to where you need to be, as opposed to just like wasting all of your time on pointless activities. I can't tell you how many times I see people who are like, my business isn't growing. And I'm like, what are you spending your time on?
Well, how many times do we see like somebody lands a client through the
Yep.
program, and then we don't hear anything from them for like 4 weeks, and they're like, I've
Yep.
been stuck on fulfillment. And it's like,
Yep.
okay,
It's
well
fine.
then you're,
It's that next rung, right?
Yeah.
There's new problems at every level. It's like, oh
but
my
I think
God,
what
landed this-
happens is like, especially somebody who is like very, very ground level comes into
Yeah.
a program like this, and they've put so much work in like attaining that like big dollar amount in a particular, retainer or whatever.
Yeah.
And they don't want to relinquish any of that. Like, I think it's just a mind thing, but it's a mindset thing that they have to go
It's a
into the
mindset
next
thing.
piece.
Yep. Yeah, because like you can't do all the work.
Yeah.
You can't. Like there's just, and is somebody not going to be as good as you? Probably, right? But if they're 80% as good as you, then that's awesome. Like that's
Yeah.
perfect. That's
Yeah.
all you need.
Yeah.
It's like you just want to get someone to 70 to 80% as good as you, offload the task, move on to the next thing. That's going to be revenue generating. Like
Yep.
that is how you actually grow a business. It's not getting caught up in the emotions of like, ooh, I don't want to hand this off. I'm scared
Mhm.
about this. Like, yes, it's scary. Are people going to mess up? Absolutely. Are people on your team going to screw up things with a client? Absolutely. Like it happens, but like that is the cost of growth. And you just have to be okay with that and train them the best you possibly can and develop them into their own leader. Right.
Yep.
And that's really what it comes down to, is like, you just can't do all that stuff yourself. It's just not physically possible for you to grow.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Justin says, I edit my own stuff because I'm an editor by trade. It's more time for me to upload footage, improve the edit. Well, here's the thing, Justin. It just depends on what your goals are, right? Like, do you want to be an editor and a tradesman for the rest of your life? And there's nothing wrong with that. That's great. We need editors, right? But if the goal is for you to grow the business and make more money and buy back your time and basically get a higher dollar amount per hour of your time, you need to be able to offload that to other editors, hire other people, and then be able to actually like grow that. Because if you had 5 editors editing for you, you would make a lot more per hour than if you were the one editing, right? No, but I have 4 million followers. That's cool. I mean, the followers are great, but the thing is like having followers and like equating that into business revenue are 2 different things. Now, if you make money from that, that's great. But like we're talking more so around like actually doing like creating a business where you buy back your time. And so the question would just be like, do you want to buy back the time? Do you want to build a business, or do you prefer just being the editor and just doing that? And there's nothing wrong with either one. You know what I mean?
It's like sales. You could be an amazing salesman, but there's only so many sales calls you can take in a day. And there's only so many clients you can fulfill after you sell them.
Yep, exactly. So like, I mean, and that's the biggest thing is like, we have a sales team of, I think it's 12 people right now at our company. And it's like, I can't take 12 people's sales calls in a day. That's like, if you do the math on that, 12 salespeople, let's just do simple math. 12 salespeople, let's say each of them can take 8 calls a day, right? Like 8-hour-long calls.
96 calls.
That's 96 calls every single day. Do you think I can take 96 calls a day? No, I can't. There's no way. So it's like, that's great. And people want to do like, but that's the same thing with editing. It's the same thing with shooting. Like if you had 20, 25 clients a day in your company that you had to go shoot for, you would need to hire a team of people to go shoot for you. Right. So it's just like, it's what are your priorities and what do you want to actually align yourself with and where do you want to go? And there's no right or wrong answer. Some people don't want to do that. They don't want to build a big company. That's fine. But the way you get there is by pushing that. You know what I mean? Let's see. I have some questions here on Instagram. I'd love to know how to deal with very low budget clients constantly haggling price and quality of content purchased. Evan, you want to take that?
Sorry, repeat the question one more time.
You're good. I'd love to know how to deal with very low budget clients constantly haggling price and quality of content purchased.
Quality of content purchase. Well,
like, I guess they're basically haggling over price a lot, and they're very low ticket.
Well, that's just that. I mean, that would go into what preliminary talks are happening and how they're happening. You know, if you're not asking the right questions as to, you know, what or why the project is on their mind, what they want to accomplish, then you're just kind of being an order taker, like at a restaurant, right? And this is what I want, and this is what I want you to bring me out, right? But even in restaurants, we don't really haggle over price, but it's besides the point. It would go into how you're framing what the result of the content is versus just what the content is, and getting them to understand why, because most people, business owners, entrepreneurs, whatever, they have an idea of what they want, but they don't know what they actually need.
Yeah.
Right. And that is what our job is to be able to tell them, hey, I understand what I think that you want. But if I showed it to you like this, does it seem like it's the thing that you actually need?
Yeah.
Right. And then you can reframe them on the thing that they actually do need, which raises your value in their eyes, and they're more willing to listen to you and, you know, pay those higher prices that you're going to command for yourself.
Yep. 100%. Hit the nail on the head. Yeah. It's more about what results does your content provide them, and selling based on the result, as opposed to just selling based on whatever the deliverables are within the content. Right. Let's see what else. Yeah, he says he is, or they are, fearful of negative word of mouth. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to get negative word of mouth by saying this is how much it costs, take it or leave it. Like, you'll have some people who maybe complain, but then they just don't need to buy from you, so who cares, right? And it's like, you're always going to have those people at every level. If I price something at $1, I'm probably going to have some guy who says he wants it for 50 cents, right? I don't care. Like, don't buy it.
But if you're talking about negative word of mouth, what is that? That's just saying, oh, he says he's this expensive.
Yeah.
Well, then eventually one person's going to hear that and say, well, he must be the best.
Yep. Yeah. What do you think of when you see something that's higher price? Do you think of it
exactly
better?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. So yeah, don't be afraid to raise those prices, but you can't just raise them artificially. You have to actually understand what outcome you get for the client.
Yeah.
And once you understand what that outcome is, then you charge based on the outcome. You don't just, I'm going to charge $100,000 today. It's like, it doesn't work that way. You have to like actually have a reason for raising the prices, as opposed to just like raising them artificially and just like throwing them everywhere. Right. Let's see what other questions we have. If you guys are here on YouTube, drop some comments down below. Let us know what questions you have. If you're on Instagram, drop some down below as well. But yeah, that's the biggest thing, is I think a lot of people just get caught up in that rat race of like doing all the work, working in the business, not on the business. And that's why they stay stuck at certain revenue levels, because they can't break past that. Because like at a certain point, you need more leads, more sales calls, more team members, more people to actually start doing the work, because you're building, I always use the analogy of like, you're building a sports team. Like, are you going to be able to win the Super Bowl with 2 people? No.
Right.
Like, you can't, right?
Yeah.
You need a certain amount of people, a certain amount of teammates. You need supporting staff for those teammates. You need a coach. You need an owner of the team. You need different players in different positions. You need people who are the best at what they do in different positions, and putting them in those positions so you can get to where you need to be at the end of the day. And it's like, if you're not and some people don't want to win the Super Bowl. Some people don't want to build a business. Some people just want to be the quarterback, and that's fine, but go be a quarterback on someone else's team, someone else's company. Go be an editor for someone else's company. Go be a shooter for somebody else's company, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's really thinking about, hey, what do I want? And starting with the end in mind, figuring out like, where do I want to go? Where do I want to take this? Do I want to have time and financial freedom in my life? Do I want to have those things? Yes or no? And if I do, then I need to build a business, right? If I don't, and I'm happy just trading my time for money and being a contractor, which there's nothing wrong with, then I'll be the contractor, right? And I'll do that.
You can't be Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce at the same time.
Right. And they're
I
amazing.
can throw
right?
the ball to myself, Ethan. Thank you.
You can go to run fast too. That's 3 things.
There you go.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Yeah.
And-
I mean, that's the thing is like those guys are amazing at what they do, but they are a specialized player, right? And like the coach would be the CEO equivalent of someone in a business. The owner would be the equivalent of an owner of a business. If you're a true business owner, you don't do anything in the business. Like the owner of like
You
why
just
am I blanking? Arthur Blank doesn't coach the Falcons. Like
He's just not throwing the ball.
he doesn't even and he doesn't even know how to do it, right? So like he wouldn't even know how to coach them. He hires the best coach. He hires like and a lot of people are not at that point where they can hire a CEO, and that's fine. You know, I'm not at that point, transparently, right? But like it's just a good thought exercise to understand like you need to put people in place. You need a sales team, you need a fulfillment team, you need a marketing team, you need people in these different places, and you need to first learn how to do those things first, and then you can hire people from there. Let's see what other questions. But Ethan, anything you wanted to add to that?
No. I mean, I think the team analogy makes perfect sense. You can't be in every single role at the same time, and you also can't be the best at every single role.
Yeah.
And rise to the top, aka win the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And be in every position at the same time. You got to delegate.
Yeah. Don says, what are the best avenues for creating leads? Typically we do like a value video funnel, and that's something that we teach our clients, but it's typically you're setting up some sort of paid ad. You're then taking that paid ad, you're sending the traffic to some sort of opt-in page. People are entering their name, email, phone number. You're then following up on those leads, and then a percentage of those people are booking a call on your calendar. So then you have inbound leads, people who are interested in what it is that you do and your video services. So then you can simply get on a call, talk to them about their problems, understand where they're looking to go, and then turn that into a percentage of those into clients, right? And so that's the best way of generating leads, as opposed to doing outbound, doing cold calls, doing cold DMs, because there's no intent there, right? So like there's no intent when you reach out to somebody. You have the intent, you're the one who looks needy. Whereas when somebody is coming to you, they have the intent and they are the ones with the problem who are coming to you. You can then hold frame there and be able to actually turn that into a productive conversation, right?
I get about 3 cold DMs a day asking if I'm doing email.
Yeah, dude, me too. I'm tired of that. My sales team is like, how many people are going to DM us and ask us about email? Yes, we're doing email. Don't worry about it.
You should see my spam folder.
Yeah. It's like, how many of you guys answer a cold DM?
I delete all of them.
Yeah.
I don't answer any of them. I delete every single one. So if you're cold DMing to get clients, like, and you're not seeing any traction, like there's probably a reason why, right? Yeah. And then the other kind of thing I wanted to talk about too is like investing in your skill set, investing in learning new things. Like Evan, you joined a mastermind recently. Like what is the thought process behind continuously investing in yourself? Like, why would you?
I mean, it just turns you on to things that you're not doing, right? And putting you around like people that, you know, some are below you, but most are far surpassed what you're doing. It's like fuel to your own fire. It's you can really ask questions on, you know, if you're doing something that you're maybe being told to do through a mastermind or a coaching program, but it just doesn't seem like it's working for you. But there's people in there that are seeing success and are, you know, having, you know, good things come of it. Then you can talk to those people and you can say like, hey, can you like help me out with what I possibly might not be connecting the dots right on? Because without getting in those circles, it's kind of like the whole, like, I could learn everything that I want to learn off YouTube.
Yep.
But I don't know what to look for in order to be able to learn it. So I'm going to pay somebody who's created a community for me to get into so that I can get those answers that are more or less targeted on exactly what
I think it's the theory of bottlenecks, right? It's like if and this is the funny thing, people are like, oh, I'll just learn on YouTube, right? I'll YouTube it. It's like, sure, okay. But if YouTube was the answer and information was the answer, then everybody on YouTube would be a millionaire. Or not, right? So it's the implementation of like, how do I actually do this, and how do I get people to hold me accountable for actually doing this? And then B, it's what problem should I be solving and when, right? Because like you could solve a problem for $100,000 a month business, but that's not the same problem that you're going to suffer from when you're at $10,000 a month, right?
Yeah.
Or when you're at $20,000 a month.
When
Like,
you're stuck at 50, people who are stuck at 50 all have different problems. Is it sales?
Right.
Is it marketing? Is it
and
fulfillment?
there's different problems at each level, right? So it's like it's A, not knowing what questions to ask, and B, how do I actually solve the right problem for the situation I'm in right now? It's context, right? And like getting around other people in other rooms who are doing more than you is the only way to do that, because they've already been there, right? It's like I've walked 5 miles ahead of maybe someone else on the path, and I can be like, hey, avoid this step here because the
loose footing or
the
something.
dirt gives out, right? And then you're gonna fall, and then you're gonna have to start back over again. So it's like it's those little like step here, don't step here things that really make a huge difference, and that's what catapults people, I feel like. Whereas like some people just have too much of an ego to pay for help, and I gave that up a long time ago, dude. I'm like, I'll pay whatever I need to pay to shortcut like my success. And it's like I've Ethan and I and our company paid recently. I won't say who it is, but it's a guy who previously and still runs a $30 million a year company, right? And it's
I think that's exciting that you can pay somebody to get there faster.
Yeah.
Like, would you not want to do that?
Yep. Yeah, and it's like if people have too much of an ego about paying for it, it's like you're going to either pay in time or you're going to pay in money. So it's like I'm either going to spend the next 10 years trying to figure out what this person already learned in 10 years, and I'm just going to pay them 10,000, 50,000, 75,000, whatever it may be. I don't care anymore, because like I've just taken 10 years of somebody's life and condensed that into
4 or 6 months or whatever it is.
Yeah, right. It's like, dude, I don't have 10 years. Like I
Right.
do, but I don't want to spend 10 years figuring it out. Like it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
And so like that's really the value.
But it also goes into like the second part of that coin is like those that like, oh, I can just figure it out on YouTube. I don't want to invest the money in, yada, yada, yada. It's like, well, then how are you going to expect somebody to pay if you want to charge higher amounts of money
Yep.
for your services?
Yep.
How are you going to command that? It's kind of like what
It's
you put out
hypocritical,
is what
dude.
you give back kind of,
Yeah.
mantra. And it's like, if you aren't willing to do it for yourself, don't expect anybody to do it for you.
Yeah. Because if that's and it's so funny, and I think, and I want everyone on this call listening to this very closely, but the objection that you give is the objection that you get.
Mhm.
And so if you're constantly saying, oh, this is too expensive, I can't invest in this, look at the types of objections you're getting from your clients. It's likely the same objection, because you get back what you put out. And so if everything is, this is too expensive, then people are going to say, hey, this is too expensive when it comes to paying for your video services, right? Or maybe that's why you can't charge a certain amount, or you can't charge more than a certain amount, right? It's like whatever you give, you get. And I think it's so funny, because it's like, I used to be that way too. I'd be like, oh, I can't do this, or this is too expensive. And then I looked at the types of objections that I got, and I was getting those. And I had to change who I was to attract the right people to me at the end of the day.
Yep. No, I heard a good analogy about hiring a mentor the other day. It's think about a maze, right? Hiring a mentor gives you the map to get through the maze.
Yeah.
But without a mentor, you're going to go and continue to find these dead ends until you eventually, 5 years later, find the end.
Right. And those dead ends could be a year each. That's the scary part, dude. That is honestly what terrifies me the most, and why I'm willing to pay for speed, because like, you don't know how many dead ends you're going to hit. Like, you don't know how many more years you're going to be in the same spot unless you pay for the help that you need to get. Right.
Yeah.
So like, it's not about the cost of mentorship. It's about what is it costing you not to do it. Right.
Yeah.
And so like, it's probably costing you years of your life. And what are you willing to pay to shortcut 10 years of your life? Right. Another good analogy one of my mentors taught me too. It's like, how much money do you want to make every year? Write that down on a piece of paper. And if you guys are listening to this, maybe do this exercise as well, right? But like, write down, hey, I want to make this much money every single year. And maybe it's like $1 million a year, right? You write that down. And then you write down, how much are you actually making right now? And maybe that's like $100,000 a year. Maybe it's $50,000 a year. It doesn't matter. You can keep that private, obviously, to yourself. But let's say you're making $100,000. you are paying life $900,000 every year that you don't learn how to make $1 million. And I know it's super cliche, but that is the cold hard truth. And a lot of people don't think about that because they're like, oh, $900,000 is not actually coming out of my bank account. It's like, pretend I gave you $900,000 and then I took it away every month. I took a certain amount away every single month until you learned how to make that. Then you would feel that not actually being there, right? And so like, that's the real cost at the end of the day. It's not taxes. It's not anything else. It's like literally not knowing how to make more money. And a lot of people don't realize that they're leaving, $900,000 or maybe even millions of dollars a year on the table because they're not learning how to do that. And the funny thing is like, we've helped so many people do this that like, it's usually a couple of small tweaks that we make and it unlocks a ton. Like I know Roman, one of our clients, was like, it was like what, $124,000 deal, Ethan?
I just told him to charge more.
Charge more, and we tweaked one thing within his sales process. And we'll kind of keep that private for him. But like we tweaked one thing within his sales process and he literally closed the $124,000 deal. And he's like,
well, I think, and like what Evan was talking about earlier too, is like, position yourself as the expert. It's not what you think you need. It's, it's the people a lot of times self-diagnose.
Yeah.
And right. I think I need this, that, and the other. Well, I don't go to the doctor and tell them like, hey, I think I need back surgery. My foot hurts. Right.
Also to go off.
Are you a WebMD or what?
Yeah. Well, and to go off that too, what doctors would you trust that haven't paid $300,000 to $400,000 in medical school, right? So why would I trust a video business owner or a videographer who hasn't invested in themselves, in their business skills, in their marketing skills, in their skills in general? Like how would I trust somebody who didn't do that, right? It's like anybody can pick up a camera. It's getting more and more competitive every single day to be in this industry. So what are you going to do that sets you apart? And what are you going to do that actually like shows your clients that you understand and have the skill set, right? Because the people who get paid the most are the ones with the best skills, period.
Well, right? The strategy aspect. A lot of people can make beautiful work. You can buy the equipment to make it look beautiful, but
anybody can do that. That's not like having good work doesn't matter anymore. No, so if you don't know how to actually get your clients results, you're screwed. Like it sounds bad, but like you're in trouble going into 2024 or 2025 at the end of 2024 here. It is very difficult unless you learn those skills to do that. Right. And, some people will get left behind and some people will be like, hey, I need to actually learn how to do this. So, anyways, guys, any other questions, anything else we can answer for you guys? Drop it in the comments, and then we got to run. We got another call in 2 minutes here. We got to jump. Let's see. Any other final thoughts, boys?
No,
I got to jump in Slack here and get with the community. So
yes, sir.
That's my agenda for the rest of the day.
I love it. Well, cool, guys. If you need anything else from us, let us know. If you want to learn more about what we actually do, you can go to masterfilmmaker.com and book a call. What do you guys suggest for creating funnels? We have a software that we give our clients as far as creating funnels. We have all those already built out on the ones that we know work and convert for our clients. So if you want to learn more about that, you can DM us on Instagram, and one of my stunt doubles will DM you back. So, all right, guys. Well, let's have a great rest of the day. Let me know if you need anything, and we will see you guys next Tuesday. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.